So today we get to talk about dreams and visions, and welcome to this beautiful space where we learn together, where we increase and tune our motivation and then our productivity and then the results that we get out of that, and knowing that some of the things that are happening to us and for us are happening in a sequence of some sorts, and sometimes when we are able to decode and encode and be able to understand some of these things that are happening, then we are able to tap into the highest power that we can ever tap into, and then be the best versions that we want to be. I know that we all long to be the best versions of ourselves, but sometimes we just don't take time to stop, to pause, and be able to look at things critically. So call this a pause. Whenever we have this kind of chat, it's us pausing and trying to understand from my own personal stories and the things that I've learned over time, so that we can be able to decipher and understand where we are, what we need to do in order to get to where we really want to be. And that is why we get to be here. So I'm Bahati Hilda Sabiti, and just grab your coffee, grab whatever you need to grab, and let's have this chat. Now, today I really felt it upon my heart to talk about dreams and how dreamers, some of us have been called dreamers for so long, and mostly by people that don't understand what we are doing or what it is that we are dreaming about. Because when a fellow dreamer sees a fellow dreamer, clearly, something clicks. You feel like, yeah, she's on her lane and she's running as fast as she can, or she's flying, or she's crawling. Yes, the speed maybe is not that much, but she's headed somewhere. You can really tell a person that is on the right trajectory of their life, and they are running in their lane. Now, when a fellow dreamer sees another dreamer, like, the best they can do is cheer them on, okay? The best they can do is say, you know what, hang in there. I know that it's not easy, because as we are on the dreaming lens, and I know that you have dreamt about certain things in your life, as we are on the dreaming lens, you realize that we are on different speeds, and then we are headed for different directions, and then the momentum is different, and everything that is happening around us tends to be different. And then we have arrived or made different achievements or milestones. And so when someone is just starting as a dreamer, it's not the same as one who has dreamt for so long. And I know that you will ask me now, but dreaming, yes, those are the visions that you have in your heart, because dreamers have visions. And the visions are the big picture of what your future should look like, or something that you admire, something that you desire to get to, something that you desire to achieve. And sometimes the picture that we have of the life that we want, like, is too ambiguous, is too huge. And I think I've said it so many times when I speak, that I've had dreams that I had no business dreaming in my life, clearly in my situation, because if I had waited to have the kind of life that I wanted in order for me to dream the kinds of dreams that match that kind of life, then that is not dreaming. No. That is not dreaming. Actually, dreamers, we dream from places we have no business dreaming from, but we are dreaming of a bigger picture that is so good. And I will start you from where the vivid dreams that I've had in my life. I think I told you about my mother. At some point, she had to operate a stall, and this stall, these village stalls where you sell, onions and tomatoes and green pepper, and you know how they can really stink, because remember, after you take them off the stall, you keep them maybe in a basket somewhere or something somewhere, and then after that in the morning you bring them back and put them back. So it doesn't mean that they're all going to be bought and go away. So that means there's a stench that stays, of all, because remember, these are living things. They die. So most of the times there will always be that stench. And then you have to cook under the counter somewhere, and it's like a small thing, and maybe you even sell charcoal there. And we used to sell sugar canes as well. So it was, like a nasty kind of, but that is how we survived. That is how my mother put food on our plate. That is how we went to school. That is how she was able to go and kneel before the school principals and and headmasters and ask, and request that we do exams that she'll be able to finish the money. That is how we had a roof over our shoulder. That is how, that is how we dressed, and that is how we got fed, and that is how, the medicine came in. And I used to help. Being the firstborn, I would be the one that, whenever I came back from school, you realize, just get out of the school uniform, get into my usual clothes, then go down to the stall and be able to help her, maybe finish up the cooking or finish up baking things and, selling some of the things to the village people. And I remember that one time I was in that kind of state, and I remember thinking forward, drawing pictures. And while we are in that kind of state, in my whole life, I don't think we had ever, because that should have been around P5, around P6, to around P7. Now, in my whole life, I had never seen any kind of, maybe be exposed to any kind of a good life. So you wouldn't say that maybe I saw these things somewhere. I had never watched TV, because we had never owned a TV in life, but I had dreams. Even that young girl, and who I have become in life, I give credit to that young girl that was a constant dreamer, that never stopped dreaming, that started dreaming when she had no business starting dreaming. Because maybe I could have thought that was the life for me and that was my normal, and maybe I would grow up to be like my mother in that state and be able to operate such kiosks and take, break snacks to schools and do that. And she did it with one heart. But in that state, under that counter, in that stench of the tomatoes and onions that had rotten, I had dreams as a young girl. And I dreamt of, going to university, because I had people talk about university. And I dreamt about one day building a house on a hill. And I dreamt one day, and I didn't know these things existed. I dreamt one day, how you would get tired of doing certain things, because some of the dreams that we have and the visions come out of pains. So one day I just had a weird vision of, one day we will have, I will have a washing machine. I will not be, washing, because being the firstborn, I would wash for everyone in the house. My father, my mother, my siblings. And if it were Saturday, I've not gone to school, I would wash starting from morning, and I would finish my washing at around 4 p.m. Just in time for me to run to church for choir practice. So even in that time, I remember those dreams that I didn't know there was anything called a washing machine, because if I didn't have a TV, if I didn't have anything, all I knew was go to school, come home, and go to church. I didn't know anything else. But I thought to myself, I was like, one day I'm going to have a washing machine, some washing machine to help me wash these clothes. One day I'm going to have, a dishwasher. Of course, I didn't know that it was called a dishwasher then, but I just sat down and thought that maybe there could exist something that helps people wash. What do rich people do, And so in those dreams, you realize that maybe you would say, that is weird, because when you are a dreamer, clearly everything you do and all the pictures that you have in your head are foolish and stupid to people that don't understand those dreams. So, fast forward, life has happened. I think I watched my first TV at campus, and, and everything happened. And then, I am creating the life that I dreamt. And sometimes I feel like it's a deja vu. Sometimes I feel like, is this even real? Is this even possible? When after you achieve one thing after another, after you finish school, yes, you have finished school late, but your dream kept you alive. My dream kept me alive. So I want us to start there. I wrote a few things that I've noticed in my personal life when it comes to dreams. And I wrote something down that how big your dream is how loud you scream. And the scream is not just about the wording and the shouting. Your life screams. To people that don't understand your life, you become too much, okay? Because then you keep saying ambiguous words. Look at Joseph in the Bible when he talked about his dream. And sometimes people want us to dream dreams that are in their favor. Sometimes when you speak dreams that are in your favor, sometimes people don't understand. They will seek to pull you down. They will even get annoyed and they will get offended. Why? Because maybe they don't understand the placement of that dream is your dream. That is why you should never tell small-minded people your dreams. Because the moment you tell small-minded people your dreams, they are going to drag you down. They're going to laugh about it. And sometimes that negativity is going to tread or is going to step on your dreams, and maybe it can even prolong the fulfillment of those dreams. Because you who was consistently growing, maybe you're going to back up a bit. You who was committed to your goal, maybe you're going to start questioning your goal. Maybe you're going to start doubting your goal and your vision. Okay? Why? Because there are naysayers in your way, and because you shared your dream with small-minded people. And sometimes, now that is one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is sometimes when you share your dream with people, and God, I think, permits it at some time that we share our dreams with people. And sometimes those people, them not believing in that dream is actually a fuel for us to work faster to achieve that dream. Because then you're like, you know what? Wait a minute. I am coming back. You know? The audacity that you get when someone opposes you, and when someone tells you it's not achievable, and you tell them, wait and see, okay? Just live long enough for you to see these dreams come to fulfillment. And sometimes God lifts us in the same places where we were down, the same places where we dreamt from, the same places where we had big visions from, the same places where we had no business dreaming, and amongst the same people, okay? Definitely it's for the glorification of his name, but it is also for the upliftment and inspiring and motivating of others, and saying that you do not just grow because everyone is supporting you and cheerleading on you. No. Sometimes you grow because there are people that want to pull you down, and you're saying, no, over my dead body, I am not giving up. I am not giving in, and I am not surrendering my dream, and I still believe in this dream and this vision, and that I will get to it. Okay? So you realize that the bigness of the screaming is what you do. Because when you perceive, and people with visions, the visions and dreams are in your heart. They are not in the eyes. In the eyes of a normal person, when they look at you, they see a normal you. You look at yourself from the perspective of having achieved that dream, and now you are connecting the dots and backtracking and starting where you are in order to get to that dream. Do you understand what momentum that creates? Because now you have a picture, and you have who you are right now, and you want to connect those two things, and there is a force that is pulling you. There is a force that is telling you it's possible, it is achievable, it is doable. What we are meant to do in this life is to break records. Recently, I don't know whether some of you have been following the world record breaker in cooking, Hilda, and a Nigerian. When you look at the state and how she grew up, life was so weird and so bad. And this is what she told her brother one day, because she used to watch some of those videos of people breaking world records. And so one day she tells her brother, that is 5 years ago, she tells her brother that, you know what, one day I am going to break a world record in cooking. Remember, cooking. Sometimes I have shared with my mentees, and I have told them that you don't have, sometimes we don't need to complicate things. We don't need to have ambiguous names and be called big names, and so that we show people how big we are and what kind of big transformations that we have. Transformation happens everywhere. If you're a nursery teacher somewhere, if you're just one who takes kids through physical education, as in transformation happens everywhere. And that is why God gave us all different visions and different pictures of our future and the things that we want to do. So there is no small dream. You can't say that my dream is smaller than the other one. Hilda could have said that, you know what, the dream of cooking, breaking a world record. Of course, there was a world record holder, and this chef was actually in India. And she had cooked, I think, for 87 hours, if I'm right. I would have to double check that. But 87 hours in a row, not resting. Because during the world record, when she was doing her cookathon, Hilda cooked for 90-something hours, and you know how the world was cheering on her to do 100 hours, but 100 hours straight. You know, 5 days starting on 11th and ending on the 15th of May, while you're cooking. And they said she cooked over 100 recipes at a go, and she fed over 2,000 people. And this was a dream she perceived 5 years ago, and told her brother, and told her that one day I'm going to break a world record. And she went on a journey to actually do it, because some of the things that we are going to share in this are the things that you do in order to get to the world record, to break a world record. Now, there are so many records that we have to break. You don't have to break a record in cooking. You don't have to break a record. No, you can break. There are so many. When you look into your life, there is a calling. When you look into your life, there is a passion for something. There is a dream. There is a vision, but sometimes you're not paying attention to it. So we can break records from so many things. Yesterday, I was telling my mentees that it's high time we stopped breaking curses, because some of us are consumed by I'm breaking curses, I'm breaking curses. No, it's time we tune our minds to breaking records, because there is something that God placed on your heart. You were created for something. There's a purpose for which you were created. And even if that purpose is to create eco-friendly charcoal stoves, you know, people are doing that. And they're making so much money out of it. And they are actually helping governments and, you know, taking these things down to villages and helping people with, you know, solar energy. There are people that are, I mean, everyone has a dream. I want you to find out what is your dream, because part of my calling is calling out the greatness in you to be the best version of yourself, so you can inspire another person, so you can motivate another person, so you can show the world that it is possible to create possibility out of impossibility. And it is possible. So while she was on her journey, Hilda, the Nigerian, while she was on her journey, you know, she started by, you know, setting goals for herself. And she said, in order for me to cook for 5 days straight without resting, and she was only resting for 5 minutes on top of every of the hour. On top of the hour, she rests for 5 minutes for 5 days straight, cooking over 100 recipes at a go, and feeding over 2,000 people. And the whole crowd was there chanting and calling her name and telling her, you know what, go, we are behind you. There are so many posts that were pouring in from the whole world. You know, let me tell you, once you are a dreamer, once you have a vision, the world celebrates record breakers. The world does not celebrate losers. It doesn't. The world does not celebrate people who give up on their dreams. The world does not celebrate people who become complacent because of where they are and they stop dreaming. The world does not celebrate people who take naysayers for their words and they stop doing what they're supposed to do because someone said you can never achieve that dream. They do not celebrate. When they were chanting and calling her name and telling her, you know, go on, we have your back, we are praying for you, you know, everyone was saying something about it. And at some point I told my mentees, I did not write, you know, most of my posts I do not write for the general social media. Actually, I do more posts in my mentorship group. So I told them that I had lost words because of the determination this young girl of 27 years that had in her mind to say, I am going to set a new record. I'm going to break the former record and set a new record. And so she went on a journey. And sometimes in order for us, not even sometimes, but all the times, in order for us to achieve our dreams and achieve the visions that we have in our hearts, we have to go to work. It's work. It's not about dreaming. It's not about just praying. It's not about, yes, the prayers are needed. Yes, but if you do not go into the action of it, into the meat of it, into the nitty-gritty of it, if you do not make your hands dirty. Because then she created mini cookathons for herself where the world was not seeing. It was only her team that was actually seeing that she could cook for. Because you don't start by cooking for 90 hours. No. You start with 5 hours straight. Then you go to 10 hours straight. Then you go for... Do you see the resilience? Do you see the consistency? Do you see that doing the uncomfortable, the things that do not create your comfort? Because by the time if you go to her social media, she's indeed a slay person. We could have said, just bring someone from the village, one who is used to doing hard work and stuff like that. No, she's living a soft life, but she created the discomfort in order to break the world record. So she went ahead and did it and said, you know what, I had to lose 20 kilograms just to make sure that I get into the fitness of standing for all those hours to make sure that I achieve this dream. So she went on, lost the kgs. She went on to do the drills and the hard work. If you can go to her page, you will see what she actually did in preparation for this. And maybe she rehearsed, not maybe, but she rehearsed her recipes because she knew as soon as I finish this, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do that. That means that she had a timetable of some sorts. That means she created a discipline of some sorts. I don't know whether you are getting these nuggets. I don't know whether you are understanding what I am saying. I don't know whether we are in this together. But if you need to ever break any record, maybe it's not going to be a world record, but it is going to be a record that you break in your life. And so many of us have started breaking those records, one after another. We are deviating from what our families were. We are deviating from what our ancestry was. We are deviating from what we were supposed to look like and what we were supposed to do and how we were supposed to end up. And now we are doing things that are totally different. We are setting new trends for our children. And we are setting new trends and new dreams. How I dreamt, that is not how my Ariela is going to dream. That is not how my Ariel is going to dream. That is not how my Asahel is going to dream. Because now the starting ground, I have plowed, I have done something, and they're going to build on top of what I am building. Can we make the next generation a lot simpler than what we are doing? Because we've had to fight from mud. We've had to fight from, not putting on shoes. We've had to fight on from going hungry. We've had to fight, but there's a foundation that we are setting that our children are never going to go through the same things. Yes, they're going to have the resilience. Yes, they're going to have the discipline. Yes, they're going to have the visions and the dreams, and they're going to walk towards their dreams. But at least they're going to start somewhere better than where we started from. Okay, so I need you to be able to look at that. Dreamers see things from their heart. And that is what I told you. Some of the things that we're talking about are things that I have witnessed and seen in my journey. Dreamers see things with their hearts. Because your eyes can only see today. Your eyes can only see now, but your heart can see tomorrow. It can see the future. And the dreams and the visions that you have are those of the future, the possibilities, the endless possibilities that the world holds for you and that you can be able to get into. So while the eyes in your head are seeing today, the eyes in your heart are seeing the future. They're seeing the endless possibilities. And I want you to be able to permit your dreams. I want you to be able to permit your visions. I want you to be able to permit the pictures that you're seeing, not to just laugh them off and say, you know what, I think I'm just getting foolish. I think I'm just getting weird because I don't think this is going to do anything or change anything in my life. I don't want you to think negative negatively about your life, I don't want you to do that. I want you to get into the sequence of speeding and running towards your dream. So get more coffee, get more water, get whatever it is, tea, come back. Let's still go on with this conversation and invite someone. Share this conversation with someone and tell them, you know what, hop on, tap in, and give me your comments in the section and tell me that if you are willing to take these tips and you're willing to chase and run in the direction of your visions, yeah, just give me some comments down there and tell me I am willing, I am taking on, I am running after them. Don't go away.